Make sure they are in the house, right? All right, so first up, we're gonna bring up to the stage Mr. Christopher R. Sabat and Mr. Sean Schemmel. Welcome to the stage, guys. All right.
Oh, wow. That is a flattering picture of me. Not what I look like. Oh, wow. This is thrilling,
well,
guys.
it's a retrospective.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's my headshot from several years ago.
Yeah,
That's not going to be the only headshot we'll see of you. I'm sure we're going to look
Trying to get my look again.
even further back maybe in this presentation here.
I love empty water here. I don't even know if this water is trustworthy, but I'm going to drink it.
Figure it out.
It's the backwash. So what are we doing? Oh,
So-
we're doing a panel. Yeah.
We're doing a panel here, guys. All right, so I want to, again, one more big round of applause for our special guests here.
Thank you.
Sean and Chris.
Thank you.
This is nuts.
This is crazy.
It's great. So I want to open this panel with you guys with this one's really for Chris, hard-hitting question.
Uh-oh.
This is a retrospective 25 years of Dragon Ball Z. What's the deal with that shirt?
It was a different time back then.
It was a different time. This is a time machine where they had already legalized gay marriage, and you and
Yeah.
Kyle got married?
Yeah, this is a forbidden love that was never meant to happen. A love between a man and his really colorful shirt. I somehow have misplaced mine, although Kyle seems to have held on to his.
Yes, quite a bit. Kyle does.
I almost
like
spewed all over the table, Chris.
So this is a photo from 1997 maybe or something like that. Chris and Kyle Abear here, who was the narrator, as well as Teen Gohan, Adult Gohan. So really, it's crazy. You guys don't realize how special this weekend is because in Japan, April 26th, which is tomorrow, was the first ever broadcast of Dragon Ball Z in 1989.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So tomorrow, yeah, technically marks, that would be the 26th year. So right now we're still in 25 years. Tomorrow's going to be the 26th year. So we couldn't have timed this 25-year panel any better. This is the last day. Technically,
25-year panel.
Many of you were not born. That's crazy.
that is crazy.
It is.
So Dragon Ball Z started way back when, and FUNimation started working on it in actually 1994 is the original date.
Right.
So Dragon Ball Z, we actually started the dub with the Ocean Studio dub, which is interesting. And so I just want to kind of set the history timeline here so you guys understand the journey that Dragon Ball Z has traveled with. And so that was dubbed in Canada at the Ocean Studio. That was the first time getting on broadcast was 1996. It was a very different time back then. You in fact had the different music back then too, and that's when you had the different soundtrack with Bruce Faulconer and his mustache.
Yeah.
I really just wanted to include this photo because of his mustache.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. But
He looked like he had a pretty lively porn career back then.
Yes, he did.
Yes. So,
I think he's editing one of his films right there. That's probably no.
So back then, before Dragon Ball is what it is now, we had a very different take on the soundtrack and the kind of hard rock style. What do you guys think made that music so, resounding with our fans back then?
The original Faulkner music.
Yeah.
You know, I have yet to figure that out because I don't know.
I think people have.
it's good music.
I would believe that people have a strong connection with the Faulkner music in the same way that they have a strong connection with us as the actors on the show, because we aren't the original cast. They're Japanese, but we are one step closer to that, and we have been attached to these Dragon Ball Z memories that people have, just the music and the acting and everything that goes into it. So I think that people just, they remember that.
Wait a second. I'm having a moment. So a moment, usually when I have a moment, which I just now dubbed it that.
Those moments take a long time.
Yeah, because I'm about to explain something. So when I first got on Dragon Ball Z, and it has to do with this in a way, I have a friend of mine who's a very, very smart guy. He's been in Mensa since we were kids, and he was working on his doctorate in biology. And we sat down and analyzed. I was like tripping out on the fact that so many kids were hearing my work and Chris's work on the show, and I was laying in bed and I just kind of dealing with the gravity of that. I'm like, wait, their brains are knitting together as they're growing. Your brains are forming at 5, 6, 7, 10 years old, and my voice is in there with what they're watching while they're part of their formation. And I was completely overwhelmed with I was completely like, oh my God, that's totally scary. And now you're all here in adults. And it's freaking me out. So that just dawned on me. And thank you. It's such a weird feeling. It's a great feeling. It's just a weird one.
So kicking back, at this point, 1997 actually is when the dub moved to Texas for the first time, and casting actually began. And your younger selves.
Yes. That's why I was trying to eat Mike and Sean to become who I am today.
And that's when my headshot guy was taking pictures of me outside and the sun was beaming into my eyes. It's hilarious. I was using a lot more hair goop back then. Go ahead.
So
Sorry.
go ahead. This is your guys' panel. Just talking a little bit about the first time you guys even interacted with Dragon Ball Z. No one even really knew what it was. It was kind of a blind thing for everyone to get on board with this back in 1997. Mike McFarlane there, voice of Master Roshi, was one of the original cast from 97. What was that like, and how has that changed from seriously just not even knowing what Dragon Ball Z was, jumping on a project and seeing where it went?
Well, it's probably important to say, since this is a retrospective panel, that a few tiles ago he was talking about the Canadian dub of the show. And that was something that was very difficult for those of us on the original, American cast to deal with at the time, because panels weren't like this. In 1997 and 98, it would be in a room like a 15th of this size, and there would be 4 people in the room. And they would raise their hand and they go, "Do you guys have any questions?" You go, "Yeah, why'd you guys change the music?" It wasn't my decision. "Why'd they change the voices?" Well, I'm one of the new actors, so it's kind of an odd question to ask that. Why'd they change the script? Dude, these are really complicated answers. And we would do the best we could. So, our first experiences going to conventions was nothing like this. And so this is making up for all of the horrible times we had.
Definitely. And I personally went out of my way. I had such a pet peeve around voices changing on shows I watched, and when they switched Ronald McDonald as a kid, I was furious. So pissed off.
They changed the Dukes of Hazzard too, and it
infuriated. That didn't work either. I'm like, look, even though I wanted to, when I got the part, I wanted to finish it out so there'd be one version of Dragon Ball with just, one set of voices on it. At the same time, I was working really hard when I first got cast. I would take old videotapes of Ian Corlett and Peter Kalamas's work, and I would try to match it, and really, I didn't want anybody to know. And early on, I did fool one of my closest friends. He goes, "Yeah, you watch Dragon Ball?" And I go, "Yeah, I kind of do. I didn't tell him I was in it." And he goes, "Yeah, they changed all the voices but Goku's voice." And I go, "No, they changed Goku's voice too." And he's like, "Oh, really?" He goes, "Yeah, how do you know?" And I go, "Because I'm playing Goku." And I'm like, "Yes, I fooled him. I fooled my best friend." So it was cool. It was important to me to give you guys continuity. But at some point, I felt like as an actor, I had to own the part. And that actually happened for me literally during the first Super Saiyan transformation fighting Frieza. Yeah. And after that day, I didn't listen to any more tapes. I'm like, I'm done. This is mine. I own this. And I'm going to make Goku my own as an actor from then on.
Back in those early days, dubbing anime was something that very few people did. And there weren't a lot of dub actors in Dallas. We were talking about this on the Twitch cast just a few seconds ago.
We are actually live on Twitch right now.
Oh,
we're on Twitch again.
What's up, Twitch? Don't get bored. Stay with us. But at the time, there were only about 11 or 12 actors on the entire cast list. That's all. We called in thousands of people, held so many auditions trying to find the cast for for this Dragon Ball dub. And we ended up finding maybe around 11 people that were good. And that's why I ended up playing Vegeta and Piccolo and Yamcha
and Raccoon
and Jace.
And
as the voice director for the show, A lot of people are like, why'd you cast yourself in so much stuff? It was out of pure necessity because at that time we were racing to get it on Toonami, which I imagine we might talk about here in a minute.
So, 1999, Toonami hits. Dragon Ball Z basically launches this entire platform of show, which again is back, and Dragon Ball Z is back on Toonami.
Yeah.
Man. So, did you guys see what was the difference from before working on it, before Toonami and post Toonami?
Well, okay. Before, and it's not really, for me, it's not before and after Toonami. For me, it's like when you first got on the show, and even after I got on Toonami, which was extraordinarily helpful, it was like, oh, cool. Oh, it's awesome. You're on Dragon Ball. Oh, wow, I'm a big fan. Now it's after 16, wherever plus years, it's changed from being treated like it's cool that you're on a TV show to you're some kind of freaking legend. And it's like, oh my God, you're not, and it's so gratifying and so flattering. And I noticed in the last 4 or 5 years, I go to conventions, it's like, a lot of we're not worthy, which is you're worthy. Trust me, everyone's worthy. Very worthy. I'm not worthy. And a lot of like, and I didn't really know what that felt like, and I'm certainly not comparing myself to him because he is so far above me. As I did I got to record a Scooby-Doo episode with Frank Welker, and I cried before I went into the session. Tried to stop myself from crying. I'm like, is this what kids feel like when they meet me now? Because. And I was just, again, overwhelmed that it's infused in your brain. I'm like, and if some part of you wants to throw it off, but on the other hand, it's probably the best feeling in the world as an actor. So I hope that answers the question, Justin. And Justin's used to my long-winded answers, I think.
We actually had our first ever cast party, and there were only maybe 20 people in the cast at that point when it got on Toonami. And seeing it on TV for the first time was just like, what? My voice is there.
Oh, I walked into a Target and all the TVs were playing Dragon Ball Z, and my voice is booming across Target, and I'm flipping out, like, just completely flipping out.
Didn't you have a weird moment with like somebody playing with a Dragon Ball toy?
Yeah, there was a toy. They took my voice and put it in, and it was a punching bag Goku. You blow up doll, and you punch it, and he says, "I will not let you beat me, and I'm going to win this fight." And I hear it around the corner. That just freaks me out. Thank you. You guys are gonna make me cry. I'm a pretty emotional guy. I go around the corner and some kids punching Goku. Now the funny story behind this is that summer we were doing a family reunion because my grandmother was getting older and we were worried about losing her, and she's passed on, rest her soul. And I love her dearly, and she got to see my work. But my mom decided she wanted to bring some videotapes, but she wanted to bring that damn punching bag on an 800-mile drive to Iowa. Now, that thing does not have an off switch.
It was not packaged well.
No, and we deflated it, but every time we hit a bump, I will not let you beat me, all the way there. I am so sick of hearing that, even to this day. But yeah, all the way to
This is the same bad packaging problem with the Vegeta toy, because my mother got that punching bag. I think it was to let out some aggression. And but that box was funny, because if you bump the box, you go, "Is that all you have? Is that all you have?"
Your mom's like, "I thought you moved out, Chris."
All right. So as we continued with the shows being broadcast on television, we got into the further sagas. You got into the Android and Cell sagas, and so you had to expand the cast. You had to hire new people, and as director, you were doing a lot of the casting and directing. So we brought on a good chunk of newcomers to the cast and crew here.
And actually, that's his pseudonym. That's actually Andre Agassi, Kent Williams. He was just using a pseudonym.
Those are some of my absolute favorite actors, actually.
They're spectacular.
They are, and it was when we got into the Android saga that we really, like, even agencies were finally letting up, like, oh, okay, all right, this is pretty cool now. So we had a lot more people trying to be on the show. And so we had there was a lot of stiff competition to get parts around the time when these guys all came in, because a lot of talented people were coming in.
And it's crazy the amount of people that got their start on Dragon Ball Z for voice acting and have moved on to crazy things across the board. So the process of voice acting wasn't even, or anime dubbing specifically, was still changing. I mean, you guys were using tapes at this point in time.
Yeah.
Well, we were chasing tape, yeah.
So a lot of advances since then. Actually, in Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods,
Scripts were paper.
yeah, you had to be careful of
Actual physical paper.
Paper.
and they had to actually physically cut the tapes to do the editing and all that.
Oh,
craziness, too.
we didn't record it in the 70s. Did we have to cut tape? I don't think we had to actually cut tape. Did you
There
guys
was a
cut tape?
time when we were cutting. It was before this version of Goku,
Yeah.
though. There was a time when we were literally recording to the tape, and it
Oh,
was,
wow.
yeah.
So
Here's a bit of trivia, though. That third guy over, right? Do you guys know who he is? That guy is Handsome Jack in Borderlands 2.
too.
He started as the voice of Cell.
So again, that's where you get your start.
Oh, yeah.
Dragon Ball
We did
Z
not know
has
that.
shot off many different careers.
Learning.
Oh, yeah.
So with the recording process being so revolutionized with digital media, we actually did a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff for Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. I actually want to play you guys a clip showing the process. This is at Okatron 5000, not the new studio, which is pretty
Pretty
awesome.
badass.
This is the studio from last year.
This is not the clip where I fart in the booth, is it?
Maybe. So this will give you guys kind of an idea of what the process was like with Chris directing and Sean working on actually multiple characters in this one.
Oh, yeah. We'll see. We'll see what I'm doing here. I don't know what's going on.
I'm excited. I have not seen this.
Oh, you haven't?
Wait, yes, I have. No?
I was gonna suggest one thing to you. You said what? Why is Bulma coming here? And it kind of implied to me that like, why is Bulma coming to this planet? Like, I think if you put more stress on the fact that it's Bulma, it'll make the joke funnier. You know, like, why is Bulma coming here? Like,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
She's like,
What? Why is Bulma coming here? Oh, okay. Why is Bulma? Yeah, sorry, I get the stress wrong. Yeah.
The one mistake
"Serious
Sean made.
trouble, and it's heading straight for us.
Goku, we're in for some serious trouble, and it's heading for us. What? Why is Bulma coming here? No, not her. Barris is coming.
All right, 152, 54, 57. Take a look at these.
So, I don't suppose any of those prizes are dirty movies?
No.
Goku, we're in for some serious trouble, and it's heading this way.
Yeah, he's still got some head flaps after that, so we may need to do the original line.
Yeah, sure.
And do something maybe a little higher falsetto in pitch at the beginning and stretch it out a little longer.
Okay.
Because we had to break that worried reaction up before the Goku, and it's a long walk. Here we go.
So, I don't suppose any of those prizes are dirty movies?
No.
Goku, we're in for some serious trouble, and it's headed straight towards us. Why's Bulma coming here? No, not her. Barris is coming. As we speak, Barris the Destroyer is rapidly approaching this planet. Really?
That freaks me out. Because I feel like a schizophrenic person or something. No offense to schizophrenic people, but...
Yes. Bulma's coming here.
No, I don't... Sorry.
I feel sorry for the actors sometimes. I'm surprised more of them don't fall asleep. Because when I'm directing, I'm always just like, yeah, if we could just get a little...
Well, it's a very soothing voice.
I had not heard that clip. I thought I had, or maybe you have all sorts of things planned, don't you?
Lots of
yeah,
things.
he's
We'll go
gonna
through a few more
embarrass us. It's gonna be
interesting
awesome.
things. So the big thing that happened with Dragon Ball Z for us at Funimation is when the Dragon Ball Z season sets came out, the orange bricks. Who here has a full set of these? Yeah? So these were a really big part of the Dragon Ball Z history and increasing the exposure and reach of Dragon Ball into everyone's homes, which is really important. 291 episodes here.
Because there's hidden code in each one that's going to take over your homes when Funimation releases its robots. That's why he said it's really important.
Oh, it's really important.
Really important.
Justin was telling me about this trailer.
This trailer is so we did this trailer for these season sets. This was at the time, 2000, I forget exactly, 2000s, the biggest, best, the definitive collection for Dragon Ball Z, right? So there's a trailer that was cut, and it makes sure it gives you that,
Drives the point home.
drives
I
it
believe.
way home.
I can't wait to hear this.
You'll see the difference between like today and
You were noticing the irony that, like, when you go to watch this, remember that there was still the orange boxes and Kai to come, but this makes it sound like Dragon Ball Z is over after this.
No.
Wrong
Go
one.
back. Go back.
Wait.
We're going to go there in a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh.
There we go. Let's try this again, guys.
Brace yourself and prepare to embark upon the biggest event in Dragon Ball Z history. For the first time ever, all 291 episodes of Dragon Ball Z will be presented consistently from beginning to end, including the uncut footage, newly remastered in high definition from the original Japanese film masters and presented on DVD in widescreen format. With new digital restored clarity and accompanied by a newly revised English audio track in stunning 5.1 surround. This new collection also includes all of the original Japanese audio, plus several bonus features, including Dragon Ball Z Rebirth, a look inside the process of remastering Dragon Ball Z.
It's coming towards me!
A new era of Dragon Ball Z has been activated. One of the most groundbreaking and established series in Japanese animation history. One of the most successful anime series of all time. The entire Dragon Ball Z series, digitally restored. All 291 television episodes, included on new collectible DVD sets, new video, new audio, a completely new experience. The definitive Dragon Ball Z collection. No compromises, no restraints. All Dragon Ball Z. Experience the classic series as it was originally intended, beginning in February 2007. The new era has arrived. Wow.
Sunday. Did Barry go
But
down?
wait, that's not all. Order now and you'll also get 4 free knives.
For 5 payments of $500. I feel like they went in the studio and said, hey, we like monster truck commercials, but we have this Dragon Ball Z show. Oh, how can we make this monster truck commercial like a Dragon Ball Z?
I felt like the text was going to hit me in the face the whole time.
It's a workout just watching that video. I mean,
They should just be like,
Jesus, my heart is just thumping. I can't.
Everyone who watched it was just like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I'll get it, I promise.
So, as we continued working on Dragon Ball Z, we got further and further into the series, hitting the Great Saiyaman and the Buu sagas, and getting even more people to work on the show.
Aw. That's nice that Chris Rager's mom posed for his picture.
So going back to how launching these people's careers have been, it's been crazy. Laura Bailey, guys, I mean, it's
That
crazy.
was a superstar.
Yeah. So she got her start as Goku.
Kid Trunks?
Kid Trunks?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. Now she's doing, gosh, every video
Everything.
game. Her and Troy Baker just hanging out.
Oh, it's just, yeah. They're like, let's see. Is Laura available for this game? Nope, not in 2015. She's a busy working lady.
Yep.
So as we finished recording for the Saiyaman and Boo stuff, then production ends at Funimation, right? It's over. That's
We
it.
took a picture. We
Oh,
popped
no.
champagne. I popped champagne with Mike McFarlane, and we took a picture kind of flipping off the script. Not because we don't love Dragon Ball, we do, but we're like, we're done.
Yeah.
And then we get a call like, what, 2 weeks later?
Yeah.
It was like,
Wasn't long.
it wasn't long. It was less than a year. Oh, we're going to do Kai.
So I mean, but for you guys at this point of your career, you've been working on this for years. It's a big show. It's hit, mass popularity, but it's over. So I mean, what did this do for your careers, respectively?
I mean, starting over the whole thing.
Just ending Dragon Ball. Like, what did completing Dragon Ball Z do for your career?
Do for my career. It didn't do anything for my career necessarily as much as it made me not have to fly back to Texas so I could work more in New York. To better answer the question, I mean, I wouldn't have a career without Dragon Ball Z. It was my
that's a
first
good
audition. And I was able to parlay that into moving to New York and meeting people, and it opened doors for me to work on all the other shows I've worked on since then. So Dragon Ball Z ending didn't really do much, except I was sad but kind of relieved because I wouldn't have to scream all the time. But I definitely, and I was excited when Kai came back, especially because when we started doing that because it was going to be, well, we'll get to that in a second. But Chris, what about you? I'm digressing.
No, it's fine. Dragon Ball Z has profoundly affected all of the Dallas creative industry.
Oh, yeah.
Dallas is a different place now because of Funimation. When I remember earlier, I told you 12 actors on the actor list. Now there's over 400. You know what I was going to say, right? There was over 400 people on the actor list now. I know what you wanted me to say. There's so many countless people have gotten amazing starts, including me. I don't know what I would be doing if I had not just accepted this weird opportunity to work on this Japanese show. I didn't know anything about Dragon Ball Z when I went into it. In fact, most of the guys at Funimation in the early days didn't either. They barely knew about it because there wasn't an internet to research it. All you had was we had no interaction with the Japanese hardly. There was no one on staff to kind of tell us what was going on.
I remember when Barry told me, when he was explaining to me what Saiyans were, he was saying what Saiyans were like he didn't know what Saiyans were. He goes, okay, so you're a race of beings known as Saiyans. And that's spelled S-A-I-Y-A-N. And I'm like, okay, do you know what they are? So continue, Chris.
Yeah, it's profoundly affected everyone. I cannot believe that we're sitting here today.
I can say I owe my life to Dragon Ball in a lot of ways. I had difficulties growing up, and I had some problems, and Dragon Ball Z opened the doors for me to get the help I need to do a lot of work on myself, to work through a lot of things. And I know it's kind of deep or dark or whatever, but I'm grateful because I was able to take that opportunity and better myself in a way that lets me have all the wonderful things I have today. And I couldn't have done that without Dragon Ball Z.
Sean told me yesterday, and I thought it was, go ahead,
Oh,
please.
thank you. Basically, what I'm saying is that because of Dragon Ball Z, I moved to New York and spent a lot of money on therapy.
It's an answer to, an interesting answer to this. Sean was telling me yesterday, and I hope you don't get embarrassed me saying
I
this.
probably will.
But he was
Go
saying, it's weird for my career that I played Goku because people work their entire careers to try and get a part like Goku, and I got it already without having to do that same 20-year struggle. Recording Dragon Ball Z was a struggle all that time, but still,
sure.
Now he's got that part, and you're it almost makes you feel lazy because you already.
Well, yeah, it's like you're done because you got that iconic role. I still haven't gotten a role, and I've played over, I don't know, I've done 100 different shows over the last, or 30 different shows or whatever, the last 15, 16 years, and I've worked on Pokemon and Ninja Turtles and Yu-Gi-Oh! And no role. I even played Batman in The Dark Knight Rises for iPad, still doesn't eclipse Goku. Well, of course, it's the iPad game, but there's no role. Every time I audition, I'm like, this is never going to, I can't imagine what role would eclipse playing Goku. And that was my first audition. So I don't even know what to do. I just go try to work. I'm like, okay.
You said it makes you paranoid in auditions.
It does make me paranoid in auditions, and I can say that, I moved to LA recently, and I just, for some reason this popped in my head, I went to the grocery store late at night to get these really awesome, you gotta try them. There's these Pepperidge Farm Boston cream ones. They're freaking amazing. Anyway, I go to the store to get some because I ran out and I wanted some more at 11:30 at night, and SpongeBob walks in, Tom Kinney, the voice of SpongeBob. And I worked with him. I had to do a voice match for a McDonald's commercial, not for SpongeBob, but he was there, and I got to talk to him because when my dad was dying in the hospital, he's alive still. My dad had a heart attack. The only show he could watch was SpongeBob SquarePants because it was the only thing that wouldn't make his heart beat fast. And I got to tell Tom Kinney in the parking lot of that grocery store at 11:30 at night, we talked for about 30 minutes, that how grateful I was that he was part of SpongeBob and that my dad, had this solace with SpongeBob. And I'm like, okay, I get the voice of Goku, and 16 years later, I'm hanging out with SpongeBob in the parking lot in LA by accident. It doesn't get better than that.
That is impressive. I think your dad's the first person who's ever watched SpongeBob to relax.
He could not. He said the only thing he had a horrible heart attack, and
you were his son, I guess. So
yeah,
that's the only thing that's calmer than you.
True. My dad is the most chill guy in the whole world. He's not my biological father, but he raised me. He's the most chill guy in the world, and he would always come in. I was so out of control and so intense as a kid. You think I'm intense now? I'm 46. You should have seen me at 16. and I was so. He would come. I get in a big fight with my mom or get some fight. He'd come in my bedroom and he'd go, "Hey, Sean, just relax." And then I get this part where I'm like, ah! all the time. I
I
wrote,
think I've become your dad on this show. Like working with Sean over the years, that's been our relationship.
Oh, yeah,
Sean
pretty
going,
much.
me going, dude, just calm down, man. Just calm down.
the video
So-
you saw of me in the movie is a very refined, polished Sean.
Yeah.
That's like if you saw a video from 1999. Oh my God, I was a complete what's the word?
Spaz.
Yes, that's the word. Anyway, we digress again.
So, I mean, not only Dragon Ball Z as an anime you guys are working on, but you're also working on the video games continuously
Oh, yeah.
for years upon years
Oh,
as
yeah.
well.
Oh yeah, thank you.
So, of course, this year's a great year for Dragon Ball Z over the entirety of entertainment with Dragon Ball Xenoverse coming out.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Xenoverse is awesome. I played it for the first time today on live television. It was pretty exciting. I also voiced myself while I was listening to myself voice myself, which was, one would call very erotic, but it was not. It was.
And I mean, with Chris, starting Okratron 5000, being able to work on all these things. I mean, Dragon Ball Z has not only been a part of your career from a talent standpoint, but from
Oh, business standpoint.
business standpoint has
Like
been a
to let,
backbone.
I don't know how often I've talked about this, but I started at Funimation when there were only a handful of people there. And once Dragon Ball Z was done, once I'd finally finished recording all that, I looked at my future at Funimation advance in this business as if I take my boss's job. And
So he killed
and then I killed him and I
ate his heart.
and I absorbed his powers. No, but I had a sudden epiphany too. I realized that my father was a gamer. He was a terrible gamer, but he was a gamer nonetheless. And he always bought us every game system. And you should have watched him play first-person shooters. He was this like OCD guy. He'd walk through a door, autosave, quick save, and he'd walk down the hallway and he'd quick save again because he hated having to start anything over again. But I realized that after we did our first Dragon Ball game, it was Dragon Ball Z Budokai, I realized I would love to do this every day. I loved working on Dragon Ball, but man, I really loved, like, working on the games was just so cool. And I really took to that. So I left Funimation and started a studio in Dallas called Okratron 5000. And it's now 10 years old. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
And so yeah, I've been working closely with Funimation even since I left, because a lot of the guys who still work at Funimation, like one of the heads of the department at Funimation in the production department was my studio engineer, and his name is Justin Cook.
The voice of Yusuke.
The voice of Yusuke. And Raditz.
And the voice of Raditz, yeah.
Super Boo.
Yeah, and Super Boo. He's a talented voice actor in his own right.
Just imagine that Super Boo is the head of production at Funimation. Just let that sink in.
Whatever, I don't know what a voice he does for that. I can't remember which one he does for that, but go ahead, sorry.
No, that was it.
So yeah, we again thought Funimation was going to be over, and as we said, it came back again, 2009, Dragon Ball Z Kai. So what we thought was going to be the end of it, and I mean that's just the tip of the iceberg right there.
Well,
with
then we
Dragon Ball Z
finished Kai almost, and then Akira Toriyama's like, I don't know if he was in retirement, but I'm going to say he came out of retirement. Akira Toriyama's like, hey, I'm going to come out of retirement and make a movie. And we're like, okay. And then this summer he's like, oh, I'm going to make another movie. I'm like, okay. So, hopefully,
Yeah.
won't die before he stops making.
We'll see where it goes, but right here's the difference, have you guys seen with Kai? This was a different experience because we actually had to go back and re-dub everything because it was a new edit. Here's the trailer for Dragon Ball Z Kai. This is, I think, season 3 here. So I think something to note with Dragon Ball Z Kai and what they mentioned in the trailer is that this brought Dragon Ball Z back to a new generation.
True. And well, it brought it to a new generation, but what's interesting about it is that, the original Dragon Ball Z dub, I know Funimation was trying to do so much to make Dragon Ball Z palatable to everyone, and anime wasn't popular at the time, but anime had become more popular to the point they felt confident that they could release something that was pure and true to the original form, which I personally liked because I'm a purist. And Chris and I were talking about this in an interview recently where I had the moment of recording Kai, and I'd worked on Dragon Ball Z, and I didn't understand why. I understood why it was popular, but I didn't understand why it was so popular. Because I was like, I can't just boil it down to explosions and fighting. I can't imagine that it would be, monster trucks are exciting, but not everybody loves them. So why does it, more people like Dragon Ball Z than monster trucks? So I was trying to do the math, and I figured out that when we were recording Kai, there was a couple of pivotal moments in the story where we had the raw Japanese translation, and as an actor, I'm like, oh, now I get why this is so deep, and why. And in recent months, I've discovered for myself that people often ask me what my favorite story arc is, Buu Saga or whatever saga, and I realize it's not this saga or that saga. My favorite saga is the entire Goku-Vegeta relationship, which you don't really understand completely unless you watch Kai, because it's more, it's explored more deeply, because it's closer to the original Japanese translation, which for me was like, oh, I get Kai. Plus, I was a way better actor by the time we recorded Kai. So a lot of people are like, I like the original Z because it's nostalgic, and it's good, and I like it. But as an actor and as a story guy, I'm like, I like Kai.
We learned a lot about the series from working on Kai. We're like, that's what they meant by that.
Oh, that's why he hates so-and-so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I get it, yeah.
Oh, Goku just fights because he kind of like gets turned on by it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a couple of lines where we're just like, is this like a weird turn on?
I'm getting excited.
Yeah, I'm getting excited. Like, really? Really excited, Goku? Because you only have 2 kids, and you're never home, and you don't like to spend time with Chi-Chi. So, I asked, it just reminded me, at the end of the Resurrection of F, which I got to watch in the theater with the legendary Masuko Nozawa, who was sitting right next to me, and she's amazing.
I'm Masuko Nozawa.
This is Masuko Nozawa. No, and no,
introducing
she and I got to ask her. I asked her. I go, hey, where's Chi-Chi during Resurrection of F? Because you don't really see her in the movie. And she goes, in very rough English, she goes, she's at home. That's why, and it was so cute. And I didn't press it through the translator further. I just said, I'm just gonna stick with that answer. I'm not gonna ask many more. She's at home. So it was very cute. Anyway, we digress again, Justin. Sorry.
Here we go.
Oh, water.
Need
Yes,
some more water?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's getting thirsty up. Yeah. Give me that. Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
So then, after Kai, again, we thought we were done. This isn't as much from the voice acting side as it was from the production side and working at Funimation. We started releasing the Blu-ray releases in 2013. And so that was just more working on Dragon Ball Z nonstop. I mean, I've been at the company for about 7 years now.
Oh my gosh.
And it's been a lot of Dragon Ball Z in my life. So
Yeah, you have it on your phone.
I do. I have it on my phone, on my laptop. Dragon Ball Z has been a weird part of my life because I'm the guy who grew up watching it.
And you're a martial artist as well.
That's true. I joined martial arts and started doing that because of it. And so I'm here at this panel for 25 years after Dragon Ball Z has been, launched in Japan. I grew up watching these guys on TV, and then I started working at Funimation, and now I'm working on all this stuff. So it's this weird life cycle. Dragon Ball Z has invaded my life.
It is a weird thing.
And it's almost forcibly in every aspect of my life now.
They're going to shove this down your throats until you can't. We're Lucasing it. We're just going to re-release it over and over, just like George Lucas did. Hey, it works. No, at least it gets better and better every time, Oh, sorry.
So I think the biggest, to this point at least, thing that for me personally working on Dragon Ball Z at Funimation was our big event we did last year, the theatrical premiere, the red carpet. And
That was
Anime
crazy.
Expo.
There's never been an anime red carpet crazy thing before. It was unbelievable.
So we went and did this premiere last year.
And all 7 people showed up.
Look at that line. Actually, there was a lot of people there. There was.
This was July 4th weekend during Anime Expo. It was one of our biggest red carpet, at the point in time, was our biggest red carpet event we've ever thrown. And here's a little recap from that last year. So I need to get some rest, and we'll see you guys next time.
And have 8 drinks. He meant go to the bar, is what he meant. No, I'm teasing.
That's actually exactly what happened. Immediately after that, we went to that bar and had the Dragon Ball Z after party.
That's true, we did.
And we bowled, and there
was a photographer there, and there was a cake. No,
we made Dragon Ball Z. There's a guy making balloon animals, like Goku and
it was
Beerus
cool. They had
balloon animals.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything about it. Let's just say I had a really good time.
But that's crazy so we had that event, and we'll go on talking a little bit about, this theatrical release was great for one.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're back kind of where we started
It's
for last
the
year.
gift that keeps on giving. We thought Gods is done, and they're like, oh, Japan's like, we're going to do another movie. We're like, okay.
Yeah, so we've got Resurrection F coming up this year. We just came back from the
premiere.
world premiere.
It was amazing.
At the Chinese Theater in L.A.
The Egyptian.
Oh,
theater.
Egyptian, sorry.
Yeah.
I keep thinking it's the Chinese Theater. I don't know why I confuse. Is there even a Chinese Theater in L.A.?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there
There's
is.
the other
Okay.
one.
All right, the Egyptian Theater.
They wouldn't go there.
So that was then now the biggest event that we've ever thrown from a red carpet perspective. It was crazy. We had the Japanese voice of Goku.
Yeah, the president. Well, one of the presidents.
Shueisha was there. It's
Toei
really
was
important.
there. We had dinner with. It was unbelievable. What was crazy to me about it was like it was unprecedented in that Japan was like. They were not really aware of how big it was here. And I remember having dinner sitting next to Masako and the executives from Shueisha and Toei, and they was telling us through the translator how impressed they were. And I told them, because of this room, it's, in rooms like it, that's the tip of the iceberg, guys. You think that was big? That was big. But it's like a super giant spirit bomb, which was translated. And they're like, oh, they were very, yeah, they were very, very, they definitely were impressed with that. And what was shocking to me, and I think it's unprecedented in Funimation's history, and I think in anime dub history, that they brought the cast together and had a world premiere before they released it in Japan, in America, which says a lot about your fandom and your support, because they're so impressed with what happened with Battle of Gods. Like, well, we're going to do this in America now because of what you guys come out and see, and the fact that you come out and see it, you know what I'm saying? And so they showed up because of you guys. I mean, that's pretty damn impressive. It's never happened in anime history before, ever. And it was really, really, truly exciting.
Give yourselves a round of applause.
I'm serious.
Honestly.
You got Japan's attention. So we're very happy, and they're very happy. So and we're happy to make them happy. So it's just a happy fest.
And we got to see the movie a week ago.
Yeah, you didn't.
Oh my God, it's so good.
It is better. I gotta say, most of the time, you do the first movie, it's a blockbuster, next one sucks. Look at, well, it wasn't true with Empire Strikes Back, though.
It's sort of a yin and yang with Battle of Gods.
Yeah.
It would almost be awesome to watch them as a double feature.
True.
Because it almost takes over where the other one left off. And anything, if you left Battle of Gods and you went, man, I kind of wish it had this and this and this, but I loved it, but I just wish it kind of had these three things. It's got 10 of those things.
It's really good. And we're not, here's the thing.
So much fighting.
You guys are used to consuming media like we all are, and there's always bullshit and hype. I don't hype. You can tell by my frequent cursing that I don't really care. And so when I say it's actually better, granted it's my subjective opinion. It's not because, I'm Goku because I have to like it, because there's a bunch of my work I did on Z that I don't like. And so I'm really honest when it comes to art. I can't stress enough how much I love this movie and how surprised I was at how I couldn't understand how anything could be better than Battle of Gods, because it's the best work we've ever done. And some of the animation, they've taken the CGI aspects of the animation to a new level. They've made it even more seamless. The frame rates are beautiful. The fight scenes are beautiful. The story is great. The comedy is awesome. There's no like lost jokes. Oh, the Japanese audience will get that, but the American audience won't. I got all the jokes. It was like, I can't say enough good things about it, and I didn't expect, I was afraid it was going to suck. I really was. Not because of Akira Toriyama or any history with it. I was just afraid because it's rare to do 2 movies in a row with the same guy and the next one be as better than, like, sometimes it's equal, sometimes maybe slightly worse, sometimes it sucks. Most of the time it does. This one was better. So you guys are going to have a great time this summer, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's my speech. I ain't lying. No hype from here. No.
So one of the things about that I've heard a lot of fans talk about for Resurrection F is the fight scenes are so articulate, and there's comparing it to, Battle of Gods, you had your one real big fight scene, which we're actually going to show you guys a clip from that, from Battle of Gods.
They tended to pull away from a lot of the martial arts in Battle of Gods, and this time they were very careful to focus on it.
There's a few scenes where there's like which they did a lot in Z, but there's a lot of scenes where it's like bona fide moves.
You can see exactly what they're doing,
and it's the camera's rotating around in 3D. And even you ever notice like when there's like crowd scenes and stuff, they just draw little dots. They animated each individual fighter on the wide shots, and you can see them swarming in together.
It's pretty impressive.
And that's not really a spoiler, so don't worry about that. But I don't think it's a spoiler. But little details like that, which I actually got to talk to the animation director, and he actually fought for that scene. And it was very gratifying for him to see it, and the fact that I noticed it, he was like, "Oh, that's great," And so little details like that are all over the film. It's great.
So we're going to show you guys a clip from Battle of Gods, where it's one of the major fight scenes between Goku and Beerus. If you haven't seen the movie yet, I don't know why you're in this room. So don't worry about it being spoilery.
Who hasn't seen Battle of Gods here?
Yeah, who hasn't seen it yet?
1, 2, 3 people. 3 people.
Okay, you guys could go watch
that
it
person.
now.
Yeah,
and then come
actually,
back.
it's
No.
at the FUNimation booth. You can just buy it there down at the dealer hall.
There you go.
Watch it tonight. This is a clip between Goku and Beerus. They're getting fighting, getting real amped up right here.
Okay.
And it's going to actually show you a little bit of the behind-the-scenes stuff of Sean here and Jason Douglas.
Who's spectacular.
Yeah, voice of Beerus, who's also in Breaking Bad, strangely enough.
Oh, yeah,
Anyway.
yeah.
But you can see them and kind of how this fight scene would be recorded and the intensity in each of their faces during these ridiculous screams they have to do. So let's check this out. It's available on the Blu-ray and DVD combo on the extras if you want to check it out. But it's really fun clip.
Good. Wow. I'm a complete maniac. I'm out of control.
Oh, you just figured that out.
I just figured that out. Oh, my God.
Actually, Jason Douglas, who plays Beerus, if you guys have been watching Walking Dead, he's been in the last season of Walking Dead. He's been in the most current episodes, so look for him there, too.
Awesome.
So something that kind of happened in Battle of Gods is, of course, you got the God mode, the Super Saiyan God happening. So it broke the cap of Super Saiyan levels and is now with Resurrection F, it can get even higher. I don't know, I'm not going to give you any spoilers or anything, but everyone's getting these new forms, everyone's getting these new powers. Dragon Ball Z, I mean, it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
The way these power levels have been increasing. I mean, it's over 9,000 is nothing even close to where we are now. You
I
can't
think we're
count
way
it
beyond 9
numerically.
million, maybe. I don't know.
It's
I haven't
way
done the math.
beyond. It's some ridiculous.
Scouter's broke. We'll never know.
But again, with Dragon Ball Z being such a pop culture phenomenon, we worked with some partners to kind of accentuate how big Dragon Ball Z is. Who's here familiar with Mega 64? Okay, so those are good buddies of ours. We worked with them to do this trailer in conjunction with Battle of Gods because basically just because I thought they were funny. But this is an example of how ridiculous Dragon Ball Z could get, maybe at some point in the future. Hey guys, it's Justin Rojas over at FUNimation. We're releasing the Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods movie this summer nationwide in select theaters. We let the Mega 64 guys take a sneak peek and then ask them to do their own little edit of the trailer. So without further ado, here it is.
The Tuffles have returned. They're stronger than ever. Want to see me turn into Super Saiyan?
Kakarot's going to have to go Super Saiyan level 8 to defeat these guys. Gohan's my son now. Must get stronger. If we find all 7 Dragon Balls, we could do something crazy.
The Tuffles won't back down!
Super Saiyan 10! He skipped 9! Super Saiyan 15! Super Saiyan level 20! Oh, mercy! No! Give me all your money!
There's an even stronger opponent! We're gonna need to fuse to beat him! The perfect fusion! Bring it on, Neo!
Mr. Goku, I've been looking.
That's not what we discussed. That is not what we had planned. I'm sorry. No, they're gonna kind of do their own thing for that. If I knew that was the case, we wouldn't have approved it. The new movie that's coming out is animated. It's called Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods, and it's going to be hitting theaters August 5th. Again, sorry about that mess.
That was awesome.
Awesome.
Oh, that's fun. They also have a really fun behind-the-scenes video of that. If you want to check out their channel, Mega64, just check them out there. Again, setting up kind of for Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F, everyone's kicking it up a notch, getting new powers, getting even more stronger, especially this guy here. We've all seen this, right, at this point?
That's some shiny Frieza.
Shiny Frieza.
Shiny, happy Frieza.
So Frieza gets his little gold form here and gets super awesome. Again, the movie's coming out in theaters this summer. I do have the Japanese trailer for you guys to check out here if you haven't seen it yet. It's completely in Japanese, not subtitled or anything. So but really, you don't need to say anything.
Most of
when
you
you're
speak
watching Dragon
Japanese,
Ball
I'm
Z.
pretty sure. So.
So let's check out the new movie trailer for Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F.
ついに帝王復活。目的はただ一つ、孫悟空への復讐。
では始めますか。お見せしましょう。私のさらなる進化を。じゃあ復讐の続きを始めましょうか。ベジータさん、あなたをフリーザ軍の最高司令官にしてあげます。
壮絶な戦いの果てに待つ最悪の結末とは。お前の甘さが招いたことだ。貴様はもう終わりだ。ドラゴンボール Z 復活の F。 前売り券を買うと超進化ストラップがついてく
I
る。
want one of those.
Get the extra stuff.
So those actually, did you not get one?
I did not get one.
I didn't get one.
The first 100 fans that showed up to our Dragon Ball Z red carpet premiere in LA that was wearing either Dragon Ball Z merchandise or cosplaying actually got these exclusive figures that they're
They're
giving
like
away in Japan.
$1,400 though. Oh wait, no.
The super cool thing about these is they have these like rubbery external shells on them that you can peel off, and then they become their forms from Resurrection F, which is really cool. Anyway, I've got my pairs, so I'm good. We actually just gave away a pair on our weekly show that we do on Twitch. If you guys are watching on Twitch, Wednesday nights on Double Talk, we actually gave away a pair of these to one of our viewers. So we can still get them maybe. So really, this is a big deal here. We've got the English dub coming to theaters summer 2015. Again, when we do get these tickets on sale for pre-order, make sure you buy them as fast as possible. They have sold out in the past, and we're anticipating they will again.
Oh, they will.
Yeah, so Dragon
I'm
Ball
buying
Z.com.
like 2 tickets, so. I mean, never mind.
So we're really excited to be able to actually do this all again, and you know, maybe have a big event this summer. We'll see what goes on, but definitely the theatrical is going to be a big deal for us. We're going to be talking about it for months to come.
Oh yeah.
And actually, something we haven't actually told everyone and confirmed yet in regards
Get your
to
Twitter feed out.
Resurrection F. We are confirming here. Chris, you want to do the honors?
Well, we have been lucky enough for this particular movie to secure the extremely talented Mr. Christopher Ayers to play Frieza.
Woo!
You guys know who this guy is? He was the voice of Frieza for Kai. He's been the voice of Frieza on the games, and he is absolutely the embodiment of the evil that Frieza
Absolutely.
is.
I mean, not personally, but his acting is spot on.
Yeah, don't upset him.
He's actually a really sweet guy.
So I think there's an interesting thing here with Chris's version of Frieza and the Kai version of Frieza that makes Frieza even more sinister than before. And we think we've talked about this in the past, how he doesn't use words saying, "I'm going to kill you." He writes it off almost as a business plan, that the way he takes care of his enemies.
And just to clarify something too, Linda Young was the original Frieza. She is freaking amazing. She's the Frieza that you all remember. She is incredible. And we absolutely adore her. The only problem is that Frieza got a new actor in Japan too. And when Kai came out, we were actually having to read Frieza at a different pace than we used to. Because whether you guys really know or care about this, Dragon Ball Z, the original version of it, we kind of talked a lot more than they do in the original version. So every time their back was turned, we would let the characters talk well over into those off segments and stuff. Now, Frieza has to fit all those crazy wicked, and the lines are very quick, and the lines are very sinister and fast. And unfortunately, Linda just wasn't able to kind of speak that fast. And Chris, this is his specialty. So it was a very tough decision, I'm sure, to go with Chris over Linda, but we feel that Chris will be the best thing for this feature, and I think you're really going to enjoy his work on it.
It's going to be awesome. I'm confident.
All right. So I want to give these guys a round of applause for their time on our panel here today.
Thank you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
And we do have some time for Q&A. So we're going to actually, if you guys want to do some questions, we're going to have you guys line up right here in the center aisle. Lauren here is going to bring the mic to do the Q&A. And please be orderly. So we do have our fans on Twitch watching as well. Hello. Thank you guys for tuning in to check us out. We do have, I guess you guys are all done pretty much for this weekend after this.
Oh, we're not doing a Q&A. Wait, are we doing a Q&A? Oh, we're doing a Q&A. What do you say we're done with?
No,
We're done after this.
Oh, after this? No, I was like, I thought you were saying there's a Q&A and you guys are done. I'm like, so who's doing the Q&A? That's me when I Goku out.
You're allowed to ask questions. We won't be answering them. We're leaving.
Justin's going to answer. I've written my answers for Justin. No.
It's really just more of a Q session.
Yeah. So let me check again. Yep. Okay, cool. So we're going to start this right here. First gentleman.
Hello.
Hello.
So, this might be a really common question or it might be a really bizarre question. I'm honestly not sure which, but it's probably not in the middle. My question would be, so if you were given the chance to come up with your own idea for a Dragon Ball Z short, for example, say, complete the characters you play in any situation you'd like, what would you do?
Well, I had wanted to, if there, there's rumors all over the internet about a potential new series, and I always thought if there was going to be a new series, I like the idea of a new generation of fighters trying to not find the Dragon Balls, but trying to find Goku wherever he is. And he's like an old man, like he's the new Master Roshi. And what would Goku be like as an old man, and how would he train, and what would that look like? How would he train the younger generation? And they go on this long quest, and maybe he's in a tiny house, or I don't know, some kind of, that was a story I thought would be interesting.
I mean, I'd like to just see a romantic comedy between Vegeta and Bulma. Or some sort of reality show. You do the dishes.
I think that would be
fine. Okay.
much better than my idea.
All right, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Hi, this question is for both Chris and Sean. You guys have obviously worked with each other for a very long time. My question is, do you guys have a favorite scene or interaction between Goku and Vegeta? And if so, are you guys able to interact a short squid?
I think my favorite scene, would you ask if we can perform that scene? Is that
a short
I don't know if I
skit
can
or-
remember it. Maybe. One of my favorite scenes is probably the scene where Vegeta tricks Goku during the Majin Saga and knocks Goku out when it looks like Goku has finally convinced Vegeta to, not do this Majin thing, and then he clocks him in the back of the head and takes off. That's kind of a cool scene.
Yeah, I've been saying that for years. That's my favorite part. The
I didn't mean
series.
to steal that from
No,
you.
it's okay. I think you only realized that their relationship was important recently.
I
but
did,
that's-
like, the last few weeks, actually. Definitely.
But that's always been my favorite part of the series, the Majin Vegeta stuff, the fight, the epic fight between Vegeta and Goku was incredible. That was my absolute favorite part to voice.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, and here we'll act it out.
Oh, I don't remember.
You're lame.
Be nice.
Okay.
Ow!
Sorry.
I'm Uncle.
Goodbye, son.
Oh. I need a sensu bean. That's pretty much
I'm
it.
back. Damn it.
I just want to say, like, thanks. I've been watching since I remember when it went all the way to GT, and it's like so many years, when I was in 3rd grade, when it first came out to 9, and then it went all the way in when I was in high school, and then it ended, and I was like, is this it? And then we went and saw the movie, the Dragon Ball Z Battle of the Gods, and I was like, whoa, it's in theaters! And so, I just want to thank you for like helping me become who I am and just growing up with it. It's been such a pleasure.
And who you are is Goku now, right? Like
You've just become Goku. You went to the gym. I clearly have not.
congratulations.
Yes.
Well, my question is, since you've obviously Goku is probably and Vegeta are like the most iconic roles in like all of anime right now. And I just wanted to ask, like, since you were like one of the first ones to voice act, do you get like calls or like the newer generation of voice acting is growing, and I just wonder if they're always like bugging you for like advice
so
or
from other
anything.
voice actors.
Yeah.
I don't understand the question completely, but I think it's a good one. What are you asking? I swear I
There's so many new voice actors now, so much talent. We
Yeah.
went to this last Comic-Con, and there's the one that plays Natsu, and he's amazing at his, and he's new, and there's so many more, and they're growing and growing. And I was wondering if they're always bugging you for like questions like, how should I do this, or what do you think?
I frequently get, not from other voice actors per se, but I have, especially since I moved to LA, on several different occasions, I keep getting asked to teach voiceover classes, and I haven't figured out how to do that yet because I taught music for 7 years, and I wrapped my head around that, but I haven't really figured out how I'm going to. I've been thinking about it, and I'm about to start doing it, and I just had a guy tweet me the other day. I gave him some basic advice at a con about voice acting. He auditioned for a part and got the part. I'm not going to take credit because he did it. He's giving me all the credit. I'm like, whatever, no, you did it. And little feedback like that is shocking to me, but those actors, but Chris, didn't you tell me once that after we moved away and this new generation came in, it's like, we're like this weird old guard of wise,
Yeah, we
crazy,
are.
25
like old
years.
We're the old dusty ones.
runts, and they're like, you said something about the new actors, or I don't know. You said something about like, yeah, some kind of legendary. I'm like, what? No, this is Goku.
Yeah, I'll go into Funimation sometimes, and there will be other actors that are newer actors, and I'll walk in. I'm not expecting it, and they go, "Oh, hey, Chris." I'm like, what's going on, dude? Are you okay? Do you need some medical assistance? And they're like, "Oh, no, I'm just doing some work on the show." Never mind. I'm just gonna. It's so
Well,
weird.
it explains why when I was signing at Dallas Comic-Con, and Ian Sinclair, I'd met him for the first time.
Yeah.
And I did not know.
Ian Sinclair plays
he,
Whis.
He stopped. Well, I'd met him previously, but I know he was Ian Sinclair, and I didn't know he was a voice actor. And he was on our signing thing or whatever, and he walked by me behind my table, and he was like, thanking me for the work I did, and he was being really nice, and he was kind of geeking out, like, and I didn't understand it. Like, I thought it was a little too complimentary for a fellow actor. I'm like, well, we do the same thing. It's
A lot
cool.
of the new actors that are coming up
he's
are your age. They were watching Dragon Ball Z.
And I found
like-
out after the fact that he's wearing a Goku shirt recording Battle of Gods.
I'll tell you what's different now working on Dragon Ball when I had to call people in for in Xenoverse, for instance, had 20 new characters. You could pick whatever voice you wanted. In the past, I would have to go through and explain every little detail to people. But the people I would call in for this, all right, this is a comment. Like, I get it. I know these attacks. I was really excited to come in here. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm just used to having to explain.
I'm just
this.
trying to be the director. Sorry. No.
Okay, thank
That's
you.
a great question. Thank you.
It
And
took-
we've
it took
got
Chi-Chi
about
with them.
12 minutes, so we're going to try to keep these to
Oh,
get
yeah,
as
sorry.
many
That's
people
a
going
long line
through.
for 12 minutes, but we'll do our best. Sorry.
Only yes or no questions. I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm going.
No.
Well, first off, I just wanted to personally thank you guys for voicing the anime that got me into anime in the first
Awesome.
place. So
Thank you.
And my question for you guys is, when it was first initially revealed for Resurrection F, Frieza's new form, what were your honest initial reactions to
the form?
To the Golden Frieza?
I thought it was like a really sweet Lexus. Like I really liked it. I really like it. It's a sweet machine.
It was like an Apple Watch or something.
Yeah, it's like
a
an
new Apple
Watch or
product.
something, yeah. Frieza, Resurrection of F, designed by Apple.
I'll be honest. I avoided looking at all pictures except those that ended up getting tweeted at me, and I even had a preliminary kind of screener copy before the premiere last week, and I chose not to watch it because I just wanted to see it in the theater and experience it that way. And I'm really glad that I did. Like, I almost gave it to Sean to like kind of start looking at, but I'm like, no, let's just watch it the way we were supposed to.
Yeah, it was great doing it that way.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
No. Sorry, I just got kind of overwhelmed.
That's
just
what
now.
the voice actor sounds like, actually, when they meet me.
So I know you touched on this briefly, but what are your exact thoughts and feelings regarding how much you've impacted and affected many kids' lives and, most of us today? For example, watching you guys as a kid actually taught me English and was able to, educate me in a sense. And,
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Nice job. I'm teasing you.
No, but also, for example, watching Dragon Ball Z Battle of the Gods last year was the first time in many years that I've actually got to see new Dragon Ball Z, footage and animation.
Go ahead. Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no. What I was trying to say is being able to see that again. Like, for example, I saw it as a kid. I stopped watching it as a kid, but then being able to watch it as a teenager, I almost kind of cried tears of joy because I got to see.
We all did.
Yeah,
I'm serious. We all did.
I think
Everyone in
everybody
here
in this
did.
room who had that same experience, just you don't have to tell them anymore. Just be like, yes, were you one of those?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Okay, everyone, we're covered.
I saw it 5 times in the theater, and I felt emotional all 5 times.
Oh, I cried every time I saw it in the theater. I saw it 5 times, every time. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, but yeah, can you explain how exactly you feel and about the impact that you've had on so many of us?
I feel embarrassed that I cried.
Well, first of all, I'm putting the 2 and 2 together that you happen to talk in a very rapid speech pattern that's really similar to me. and then after you just said that I taught you English, I also used to do ESL recordings where I had to say sentences like, I'd like to buy an orange. In New York, I did a lot of ESL tapes, but you probably weren't listening to those. And I'm like, okay, wait, are you talking fast because of me? When they say the impact we have, granted, we feel like we're just, at least the way I feel, we're just the guys who bring the characters life. I mean, it's really Akira Toriyama, those character designs, and the story written by him. However, we have to make those things be alive with our emotions and our pitches that we choose from our emotions, and we have to feel it in order for you to feel it. And at least for me as an actor, and I hope it's true for all actors, I always wanted my voice to, in intensity and clarity and emotion, match the animation, particularly on the fight stuff. And I always felt like I was just kissing the surface, and I never quite made it because I wanted to go further. But Chris is right. We cried every time in the theater to know that, and I told you early in the panel that me and my friend Ralph were sitting around talking about, like, okay, these kids' brains are growing, and their neural net is infused with my voice and what I'm doing.
Well, I mean, obviously, like, the way I speak is because of you, I guess, but that's just the thing.
Which, like everybody's going to talk really fast now. But
he's like, I'm feeling so Kamehameha right now. That's not what that means, dude.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those things that you're like, if I die tomorrow, I'm done. I'm good. I came to Earth, as a human being, and I left something forever that it's the greatest feeling in the world. I mean, I can't. I'm going to cry now.
Oh, thank you. We'll go to the next question.
You guys,
thank you.
It's great, man. Thank you. I hope we answered your question. Okay.
Thanks for coming out, guys. As a fan, and I'm sure you guys have had these thoughts too, I've always wanted to see interactions and fights between characters that don't always interact in the series. And I was wondering, did you guys ever have like it'd be really cool if Vegeta and Piccolo fought, because they never fought in this series, and I always thought that would be an amazing fight just because their character development goes along a similar path. So I was wondering if...
You're blowing my mind here. They never fought? They didn't fight in the Frieza saga? No, I guess not.
I don't know.
Dang.
Goku versus Gregory.
That's probably why I still have a voice today.
That's what Dragon Ball Xenoverse is for.
Yeah,
exactly.
To recreate, to make all the fights that you've always wanted in Dragon Ball history, and then to make your own character, which is amazing, and insert yourself into Dragon Ball.
Some of those, I saw that article on Kotaku with those crazy characters people are making. It is hysterical. I love it. But yeah, I would just want Goku to fight Gregory or something ridiculous like
I wanted Poir and Chaozu to get really angry at one another.
I guess that's the best way to answer your question. Yeah,
Cool.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we are at about 6-7 minutes-ish.
Okay, hi.
And I gotta pee really bad, but we're gonna stay for the whole 7 minutes.
Question to both of you. I don't know if you guys have grown up watching like cartoons like we did, grow up watching.
Yes, we are from America. No.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't know if there's something that you remember iconic to you and maybe something that stood out to you that like, man, I wish I was on that show voicing that character. Has there ever been that character that stood out to you growing up or something that you still remember that you wish you could have been part of?
It's weird because I never aspired to be a voice actor. I was going to be a professional French horn player, which I was. And then when I got in the booth for the first time, I felt like I'd come home because I spent my whole childhood turning on the volume on TV and making up voices for black and white television, doing impersonations all the time. I was fascinated by Rich Little and Bill Cosby and Robin Williams and those guys and how they could change their voices and Michael Winslow. I can say, and I mentioned this earlier, I grew up watching Scooby-Doo and Speed Buggy and Wonder Twins. Super Friends with the Wonder Twins and Batman and stuff. And I did get to voice Batman in The Dark Knight Rises, but for iPad. But yeah, because I have to clarify that because I don't want people thinking I'm taking anybody else's job.
Stunt double in the Matrix.
That Kevin Conroy, who's amazing. But when I got to play a guest starring role on a Scooby-Doo thing that's coming out, and Frank Welker walked in the room, and I'm sitting in the booth, I didn't realize that my childhood dream or any dream I had would be to work with somebody like that who had been so profoundly influential on my childhood. And I literally had met an actor in the booth, in the waiting room, and I was sitting there, and I go, excuse me, I don't know you. Frank Welker had walked in, and it was one of my co-stars, and I said, I don't know you, but I'm going to cry now because Frank just walked, and I just started bawling, and I had to hold it together in my session because there's 7 of us in the room. And so we're all recording together, and every time he'd do the Fred voice or the Scooby voice, I'm just like beside myself, trying not to cry, and the director's like, Sean, I'm like, oh, sorry. And then I did my line, I go, God, I hope that was good. And he was so sweet and so complimentary, and I can't believe it. It's literally like winning the lottery. So that's the closest thing. I don't think of roles in that terminology, in that way. Like, I don't think I'd like to be that guy someday. Although I do regret not being able to play Vegeta because it's like a way funner character to play than Goku. and Chris can be a total dick at cons, and everybody loves it. He's like, I won't sign it. I'm like, oh, I love you. Tell me I'm an asshole. You're an asshole. And he's like, oh, yeah, I love it. Yeah. And I don't get to do that. And they expect me to be nice. And when I'm not, then I'm a big jerk. So,
the quick answer to your question for me would just be, I didn't realize, like when I was a kid, I didn't realize that there were people doing voices on cartoons. Like when I was watching cartoons as a kid, we didn't have a YouTube that we could go to see extra features of stuff. Like, I just assumed that these shows had voices on them. I never even really thought about it.
We had 5 channels.
Yeah, yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, we were lucky. We had a lot. We had this crazy cable box, and you could click to get the different channels. But I never knew that was a dream of mine, but I did always know that I wanted to do something with my voice. So I went to opera school. I was always recording things. I loved to try and hook things together. So I wasn't necessarily always aspiring to be an actor, but I'm very happy that I can own a studio and be a producer and get to play on a bunch of stuff and do a lot of fun, like, audio things. And so my dreams have all come true for that reason.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you for coming to
Good question. Thank you.
We've got literally like 2 minutes, so
because I talked too much.
We can either
Sorry.
buzz through 2 questions or do one more.
Okay, hi.
We can do it fast. All right. Ready, go.
Okay, so you guys have obviously been Goku and Vegeta for ages, and you turned out to be so cool in real life. Like that.
Thank you.
That's like awesome. So my question is kind of, you've gotten to be these characters for so long. Did you actually get the chance to, in the studio, improv a little bit and add more to the character yourself? Or were you really stuck to the script?
I've gotten to a point with my character where you played a character long enough to where we don't get to improvise usually. However, I know the character well enough to where a lot of times I know it better than some writers, particularly when they're new writers. And I will occasionally say, Goku wouldn't do this, he's not selfish, that we got to change this line. And usually Chris is the director, so he will double check it, and usually he will agree with me.
Yeah.
And they will defer to you, and that's not typical of most actors. You really need to defer the director and the writers, et cetera, et cetera. But like I said, once you played it long enough, oh, gravity.
That was
Good catch.
awesome.
Awesome catch. And as far as improv, there are hours and hours and hours of outtakes in an archive that will be released once my contract expires. No, I don't know.
You could also say, though, that all of the fight sounds that you see in these shows are improv because there's no script that says this is exactly what you're supposed to do.
True.
You just watch it, and all of us feel like I've never been in a fist fight in my entire life, but I feel like I know what it sounds like.
Yeah, I do. When I first got on the show, I had this idea that I was going to do a different sound effect for every single fight react.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize there was going to be 8 million sound effects, fight reacts throughout the whole series. And that was a dumb idea. But that's a great question.
All right, we're down to our literally 1 minute. Answer this last question in 1 minute.
I'm glad everyone else is still waiting in line.
You guys are one of the biggest role models I've ever.
I'm sorry, what?
That you guys are one of the role models that inspired me to be who I am today. And I just want to ask a simple, quick question. What is your favorite moment in DBZ, and for both Sean and Chris?
Oh my gosh, my favorite moment. There's so many.
The moment I heard that there was a new movie out.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I've never felt so amazing in my life.
I would agree with that. Yeah, especially when they announced Battle of Gods, and especially, and I would say my favorite moment essentially is Battle of Gods. That's my favorite piece of DBZ anything to date. That's the best way I can answer that. But in Z, I can't put a finger on it because there's so much.
Yeah, and we haven't even got to work on Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F yet, so there's many more moments to come.
Yeah. True, we haven't even recorded it yet, but we will. It will be out this summer. We're going to
And
record
after
it
that, it's just the driving school episode.
Yep.
So.
The driving school episode's awesome.
So cool. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys for
big round of applause here for our guests. Give your guys yourselves a round of applause for being awesome fans. Again, feel free to tweet at us using hashtag DBZRF. We're really excited about this movie this summer, guys. We want you guys to make it a big, big deal. Thank you guys again.
Kamehameha! That's a little quick one.